Then the big segment, Tony Schiavone brings out Britt Baker and then brings out Saraya. And we get Saraya explaining that she has taken MRIs, CT scans, and unfortunately, for Britt, I'm 100% cleared.
Exactly like that. Exactly that delivery.
She says that AEW is her house, and Baker asks, is there anything more fickle than an AEW fan? As they're all behind Saraya here. And we go back and forth here. She calls Saraya a superstar who had the audacity to skip in here and call it her house. You didn't lay a single brick here. I'm everything you wished you could be because you left your house and walked into mine. And we don't take walk ins. So, bitch, make an appointment.
Good lines.
Healthcare.
Should leave that in the voicemail for her dentistry
That
office.
was great. Saraya's comeback. She states that Britt was handed her position by Tony Khan and fed QT's trainees. And you've only been in front of a camera for 3 years. You don't know what it takes to be a superstar or even a star. I traveled up and down in the UK for free because I loved it. I was hit by a car and wrestled the same day. I was turned down at places just for being a female. I started revolutions before they were a trend or wrestling was even a twinkle in your eye. And then I watched this woman turn into JBL as she listed off the arenas, almost the exact same arenas as Monday. I've worked
Almost.
the Garden, the O2, and a hidden gem that I don't know if anyone has the tape of. Paige worked the Tokyo Dome. What time when did we miss this? What she
Maybe
meant what she
she's
meant
speaking
Sumo
about
Hall.
the future. You know, maybe she's predicting she will somehow maybe get into stardom. You know, for one of these crossovers.
Okay.
She meant Subo Hall, yes,
She
and the
meant
internet
Sumo Hall.
was dunking on her pretty hard. You know,
I mean,
for this poor mistake.
it happens. She then explains how she was publicly humiliated in front of millions of people, battled a drug addiction publicly, and she gave her career and her neck for this business. You don't have a clue what it takes to make it. But I'm going to give you another opportunity handed to you on a silver platter. It's my comeback story, and it's the biggest match of your career because we're facing each other at full gear. And with that, Baker tries to attack Saraya, who stops her and hits the unidentified, formerly known as the Rampage.
Yeah, I guess you can't call it that anymore.
Or she could just use it on one show for AEW.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
We'll see what the name is. The ra- yeah, I don't have anything. So
Yeah. Really strong emotion here. Really strong promo from the both of them, but especially Saraya, rightfully coming out at the end of this. I think with you know, with the feeling that she maybe is actually worth the hype. You know, like they started this whole thing back after All Out, and from that moment, I personally was so excited. I thought she was just like the perfect type of big personality, well-known mainstream figure that like an AEW women's division needed, and that coupled with like her comeback, I was just ready for like I think great storytelling, maybe great matches, and certainly great promos. And the night or the Wednesday after that, to me, made that segment in particular so disappointing because we got anything but that. Not only did we not get a very good promo like we got tonight from Saraya, the continued ambiguity of her clearance. I don't have an issue with them delaying the tease or teasing so that you've ultimately built up to this week to finally announce that big sort of triumphant comeback moment at the end of the 5 years. But I felt like they did such a bad job of even teasing. You know, like they kind of did shot certain angles to already kind of announce it, but like not necessarily announcing that like she's working towards it. It just really, I think, killed the hype. And that's really unfortunate because always at the end of it was going to be a moment like this where, you know, Saraya Bevis like would go on TV to announce that she's finally ready. And the real emotion on her face, I thought was just so nice to see. You really felt it for the person after everything she's gone through. And then her mentioning everything else, public humiliation, battling drug addiction to finally come to this point. These are real accomplishments that she's overcome to get here. And I definitely feel like she won, much of the naysayers back with something like this. And this program finally feels to me like it's on an upward trajectory. I just wish that there was a bit more planning for the material leading up to this between All Out and this point. Before we get there, but by the time, listen, if the match is great, we'll forget about everything else.
Yeah, they really needed a segment like this. I thought Saraya her delivery was terrific in this. Like that emotion came through. And I will say, when this promo started from Saraya, I was not liking the direction where it was more so like everyone watching this looks at Britt Baker as the top female in this company. And it started off as with, I'm from WWE, so I'm way bigger than you are. And it took me back to the Punk press conference and just destroying Hangman and this minor league company full of children. Like, that's the tone this took. So I was glad that it sort of veered into her personal story and what she has overcome, that by the end of this, I thought they got to the destination they wanted to be. And her delivery, I thought, was terrific here. Like, it was, when she announced that she was cleared, you could see, like, it was an emotional announcement for her. Overall, like, this worked, but I was leery the way this was starting and getting into you're a superstar. And then, that I'm the bigger star because I came from the bigger company, which is not the message I want right now.
Yeah, the fact that, what do you know about being a star because you've only been on TV for 3 years. 3 years is a long fucking time, to be on TV and leading an entire division. So to me, it's almost a line that kind of like nullifies, she was at the very top of AEW. She has arguably been at the very top of AEW in that division for 3 years. So you're saying nobody in this company is a star.
I mean,
by saying something like
Paige
that.
was only on the main roster for what, like 2014 to 17? Right. I mean, it was just a bit longer than that.
So, like, there were certainly moments, I agree with you, in Saraya's promo, John, where, like, I think it could have used some editing to get rid of some of that stuff. I would have liked to hear Saraya actually acknowledge Britt's accomplishments a little bit more. Talk about how you are at the top, Britt, and you're the person I'm trying to chase to get back to that spot after being away for 5 years. Like, really put over your opponent before kind of setting yourself up as the babyface underdog.
Yeah, I think you could have certainly got rid of, like, you're in this spot because Tony Khan gave it to you and you beat some scrubs from QT Marshall. It's like, well, then what are you beating on at the pay-per-view? Or conversely, if you fail, what are you failing to?
Right. You're also, like, talking to an audience that is already going to side with Britt Baker more than you, Saraya, because they've seen Britt Baker, like, claw her way up to the top. Like, she really earned this spot because she's been so good week after week. So the audience has a lot more reason to care or side with Britt than they do Saraya. But I mean, there was enough good content from Saraya's promo that I think she won them back.
As I said, I feel they got to where they were, but this was not without its flaws at the beginning. But I think it was more important where they got to at the end, and this felt like a notable match for the pay-per-view by the time it was over with. Like, this will be one of the more, like, everyone's going to be very curious to see how she looks after 5 years.
Yeah.